All right, hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Joe Talks. I'm Sergeant First Class Nathan Hutchison here in Aqua, LA, the Army Entertainment Office. And today we're joined with Staff Sergeant Cody Royster, and he is with the Old Guard, which is already a prestigious organization. He's also part of the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard team, and he had the pleasure of coming out here to Los Angeles just recently. So Cody's going to talk to us about his time in the Army and what got him to this point in his career. And with that, Cody, please take it away.
Again, my name is Staff Sgt. Cody Royster. I joined the Army in 2015, went to OSIT at Fort Benning, Georgia. From there, I moved on to Fort Stewart, Georgia, where I was in 1st Battalion, 30th Infantry Regiment as a saw gunner. Later on, as time went on, we disbanded and went to an armored brigade. Then I was put on orders to Fort Hood, Texas. I spent time as a dismount and then moved on to be a Bradley gunner. Really enjoyed being a Bradley gunner. And my time was coming up there at Fort Hood, Texas, and came to the Old Guard, which has been amazing since I've been here. The amount of opportunities I've had, the things I've done, the people I've met. I'm very grateful for the opportunities I've been given since I've joined the Army. I have no comms with you. I can't hear you right now.
Sorry, I muted myself. Hey, can you give me a little bit of rundown of how you got involved with the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard team?
Okay. So the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard is technically attached to the Continental Color Guard, which is the platoon I'm in. That's just the Army's portion of our platoon. And they do a 3-week assessment and selection training for those, the soldiers they identify that they would like to come to the platoon. Usually the best of the best get selected to come to the tryout. That 3-week tryout involves, numerous stands, rifle manual, learning the flag manual, learning all the sequences that we do, whether it's just a normal color shot that you were able to see at the Super Bowl, or if we're at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, wherever it may be, those sequences that we had to learn. After that, each week has a test out week. First week, learn, test out rifle manual, do a 10-mile run as well, 5-mile staff run that following week, starting it off. And then you learn the staff manual week 2. From there, you'll get tested out on all the staff manual, as well as a uniform test. And then week 3 starts out with a 3-hour stand at the position of attention. And then from there, you learn all of the sequences that we do. And then you're tested out on those in each position as a rifle guard, a flag bearer, and myself, who always holds the national colors as the NCOIC. And so I made it through, the long 3 weeks, and I've just been handed opportunities that I've taken, and I've ran with them and tried to make the best out of every opportunity that I've gotten since I've been there.
Awesome. Now, is this something that you were interested in before you got to the Old Guard?
It was something I've seen the Old Guard do at the Super Bowl, obviously, in numerous sporting events. I didn't exactly really know what the Continental Color Guard was until I got here. And the platoon I was in when I first got here was the official escort of the President of the United States. So we did a lot of stuff at the Pentagon, welcoming foreign dignitaries in and such. I've done stuff at the White House as well. And then about a year or so into my tour here, I talked to that platoon. They identified me as someone, hey, come out and try out with us. And from there, I got back from ALC and immediately went to the 3-week assessment training and selection.
Awesome. Now, before you joined the Army, did you have any idea that this opportunity was available, or?
So before I joined the Army, I always saw the tomb sentinels, down at the tomb and how prestigious they are. And I was like, wow, the discipline that they have and everything like that. It drove, it drove me to almost join the army. Sent my family members as well. Um, so I actually had an old guard recruiter, I believe, come to my basic training and identify individuals who were tall enough to come here, with GT scores, that were high enough at the time, and they were able to volunteer for that position. I did not at the time because I wanted to, see what the big army was like as a normal infantryman down on the line. And I knew one day for sure that I definitely wanted to try and make it to the old guard. Um, and pay my respects, especially down in Arlington and such.
Oh, that's awesome. Now let's shift focus to the Super Bowl. Now I just figured out that you have, you know, during your time with the old guard. I mean, being around the Pentagon and the president and everything else. That's a pretty big deal. But
Sure.
how is this different?
The stage, all eyes are always on us at all times. That's why we try and be as perfect as we can at all times. We don't try, we are always perfect. And that was definitely one of those moments where, I said a nice little prayer to myself. I reminded myself of why I do what I do and who I do it for. And the moment I stepped on the field, my nerves were, they were shaking, and the crowd is roaring and speakers are loud, and, seeing all the NFL players, that's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. And the experience was unbelievable. It really was. It was something that I never thought, honestly, I would ever have the chance of doing, going to a Super Bowl, let alone, presenting our nation's colors with the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard, at the Super Bowl. So that to me was huge.
So can you take us through the process? Because I think you are on the road for a couple weeks or more.
Sure. Well, for myself, prior, I actually went to the Pro Bowl, presented the colors there. I got back to Virginia, and about 2 days later, I want to say we were there for a total of 5 days. 2 days later, I was on a plane out to LA, and as soon as we got on ground, um, we had, numerous things we had to do through the NFL, obviously to get credentialed and whatnot. And then we did, I want to say about a 2 hour long um, rehearsal, full dress rehearsal with, the national anthem singers and everything like that, going through the walks with the NFL and how they want everything to be done. Um, and then, it came down to execution day. So the time on ground wasn't really a long time, but it was enough for us to understand what the NFL wanted and be able to execute, perfectly on that day.
So how is this different than? Because dealing with the coordination and the
Sure.
production of it all. What
Yeah,
you've done prior
absolutely.
to that is probably a little bit different. With
No,
that.
absolutely. Every event that we go to, there's always, a point of contact that we reach out to, let them know, hey, we're on our way. As soon as I get on ground as the NCOIC, I uh, I always make sure to link up with the point of contact. I do a quick little recon of the area, ask them, hey, what exactly do you want? You want us to national anthem and such, and usually it's very simple here, because we're really local. Um, and but over there, the coordinating with the NFL, we had, our PAO come from MDW that really helped out a lot with coordinating and what the NFL wanted, their intent. So the difference between, my normal job and, going out to the Super Bowl, it didn't change a whole lot for me. The thing that changed for me was just the stage, how many people were, watching. I don't know, 5 million or something like that. All eyes are on us. So the biggest difference I want to say was the amount of people that were watching us at that time. Because normally, you really don't have too many eyes on you. It's just really who's at that event. I've done like 200, 300 people at an event, which isn't too nerve-wracking, but it's something, you can't get lackadaisical in this job. And if you do, that's when, people start messing up and calls are called wrong and everything like that. So I'll say the stage was the biggest thing. Linking up with the point of contact, everything like that was essentially normal for myself, because who we had with us. We have representatives from military district of Washington, helping us through everything. And they really took care of when it came to the point of contact, ensuring that we got credentialed right and everything like that. So for myself, it was just a normal day, another mission for myself, as we say. But like I said, the stage was it was remarkable. It was insane.
Yeah. So, can you explain for the audience just so in NCOC, what is that responsibility and specifically to your unit?
Sure. So as a non-commissioned officer in charge of the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard, my job is to ensure that every member in the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard understands the sequence, understands our staff manual, our rifle manual, and is able to perform the sequence that needs to happen. And I make the calls. So, for anybody out there that heard the person making the call at the Super Bowl, that was myself. I'm the only one in the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard that makes calls. Um, so I am really in charge of everything that happens from the time we get on ground to the time we leave. They're just another member of my squad, to be honest with you, as we, conduct our mission and whatnot. Whether they're a Marine, uh, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, anyone, Space Force, they're at that moment in time for that hour to 2 hours that they're with me, they're a member of my squad, and I'm in charge of, what happens on ground.
Okay. And can you talk about that setup with the joint forces, what that was comprised of?
Sure. So for the Super Bowl, as you saw, we had the drummers, and then it was my lead guard, um, myself. The national colors always come first, and then it was order of precedence in military service, which is Army, Marine, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and then a trail guard, rifle guard, who is a Marine, and then the trail drummer. That was what everyone saw on TV, and that's not normally, we normally don't have drummers with us, but for events like that, it's extremely important that they're with us to help us maintain step and beat and everything like that.
Yeah. And so this is just one step in your Army career.
Absolutely.
How is this? How does this develop you as a soldier? How does this develop you as a leader moving forward from this?
As a soldier, the discipline, going through basic training, of course, we all get the discipline instilled in us and whatnot. I never really struggled with that growing up, I want to say. I always was goal oriented, and the discipline being here, our uniforms are completely different from the normal Army ASU uniform. They're pressed a certain way, there's stitching in certain spots, and you really have to, pay attention to detail to those small things, because one minor thing can really, you know, throw off your uniform. And, as an NCO, um, I really enjoy leading soldiers. I love mentoring, developing, and training soldiers. That is something I thrive on, because at the end of the day, I want to impact somebody's life. And if it's just one person that I impact, I'll be happy. But I know I have an impact on every single one of my soldiers in my squad and platoon. And hopefully, the battalion or regiment will see, what we do as a Continental Color Guard. They see that and they want to strive for perfection, and that's something going forward that I will always instill in my soldiers, is to always, strive for perfection. Nobody's ever going to be perfect, but if you can strive for it and be the best person you are every single day, best soldier, husband, father, wife, whatever it may be, then at the end of the day, you've met your goal that day. You can move forward.
Yeah. And the impact uh, of this organization is just you know
It's incredible.
yeah
It's not often in the Army do you work with, foreign dignitaries. Um, and, normal line units, they do their rotations overseas and, they get to work with those. And I've done a rotation, to Korea, worked with the Rock Army before. But the impact that this has had, I want to say on myself, from where I was, where I came from, has been, it's huge. It's made me understand that, just because you weren't supposed to, go be very successful, because of the life you had prior, doesn't mean that you can't be successful at all at what you want to do. And um, the impact this organization has had on me as a soldier, as my soldiers, and our allies that come here and they see what we do at the tomb, and they go to the tomb too as well. We put on a full performance for them down there, a full ceremony for them. I think that they see that and that impacts them as well. Um, so this organization is great. It, like I said, perfection is what we strive for here at the Old Guard, on all aspects. So from whatever job you have, it doesn't matter, if you're a cook, an MP that's here, it doesn't matter. You strive for perfection here. And I think that's the impact it has on soldiers, is understanding discipline, um, and just, being the best soldier you can be every single day.
yeah. And so going along those lines, I know that y'all had some outreach type of events in the process of going to the Super Bowl. Um, can you talk about any of those? And I mean, I know specifically in Los Angeles, you
Yeah, we
gave a
went to Sunbury Academy.
yeah
That was kind of our one of those. We went to UCLA as well, worked with some ROTC students. But Sunbury Academy was, it was huge. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it is an academy for less than privileged kids who, want to be better, who want to make themselves better, and training them and teaching them, just the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard. What we do is different from the big Army, and I think that had a huge impact on, soldiers, sailors, Marines, all of us coming there, taking time, we all of us enjoyed it. We really did. And I was grateful for the experience. I know the kids were there asking questions, they range from 16 to 18 years old. And I think that had a huge impact on going forward for them in life. Um, like I said, they all enjoyed it, asked a ton of questions, which was awesome. Not every day do you get to see, individuals like us who are the most premier colors team in the entire world, and they really loved it.
yeah. And uh, so I think it's significant to point out that you know what you're doing. You know, there's not many positions, right? There's not many jobs out there where you walk onto the Super Bowl field and there has to be an understanding that I mean there's even players that are sitting there kind of in awe of the accomplishments or the dedication of the um,
Absolutely. Um, I think them seeing us and how we operate, even work with the NFL personnel, um, you know, while we were doing rehearsals, none of us moved. It was a rehearsal. They're asking us questions and nobody's talking. Because when you're at the position of attention, we don't talk. I'm the only one who can speak, but that's only for calling out our commands. It's we're just disciplined, and them seeing how for myself, how I operate, telling them, I'm sorry, we can't do it this way, or knowing my job, being the SME of my job. I think that puts them in a little bit of awe, because somebody who comes out there, does their job, knows what they're doing, and, demands greatness from every single person that's there. Um, I think that is great for them to see, and knowing that, our military members are, we're the top notch, and especially being here, and working with all of them, the other service members as well. We, like I said, I really think, I even had a couple of NFL players acknowledge us as we're walking onto the field. And that was pretty cool, giving us head nods and, you know, speaking to one another. Oh my gosh, look at those guys. So it really it was a good experience. And I'm glad they got to see that because, not everybody does. And granted, that day, 6 or 7, however many million people got to see that short glimpse of us on TV, but it was that 15, 20 seconds that we had, um, on TV that made every single thing that we've done this past year, honestly, probably everything that a lot of the, service members have done in their lifetime worth it, that was ever been hard to them and whatnot.
So can we go into the training a little bit?
Sure.
You said it was 3 weeks of training. Um,
Yeah,
what, you know, a lot of it's mental, right?
absolutely.
But
Physical.
obviously a lot of physical. I mean, 10
Yeah, I
mile
can break it
runs.
down for you. So day zero, essentially for us, is Army Combat Fitness Test. Um, and that's just a normal morning for us. We'll get our initial counseling into the platoon, and hey, you are now a member of this platoon for the next 3 weeks, for the assessment, training, and selection. Hoping you make it after that. Laying out the guidelines. We get a knowledge book that's very thick, um, but it's our job. Week one, that Monday, we'll say, so we take the ACFT on a Friday. That Monday starts out with a 10-mile run. And it's numerous events during the 10-mile run. And really, that's to see, your drive as a soldier and your will to push yourself beyond your limits. And it does. I like to see myself as a very fit person. And that pushed me and made me understand that, it's a mind game. That's all it is. Your body's going to quit before your mind does. And if you can tell yourself to keep pushing, you'll drive on and you'll accomplish that. After we finish the 10-mile run, we go get introduced, to rifle manual. And that consists of learning for 4 days of all the rifle manual that we do. But during those days, you're doing, something we call 50-10. So a 50-10 is 50 minutes on the marks, standing there with your rifle going through the motions with a 10-minute break. And at that time, we're able to get water, hydrate again, a snack, if it may be, and also jumping into that knowledge book. And then that goes on from Monday to Thursday. Thursday evening, after we're released, we prep our uniforms for a 110-point uniform inspection. That is done thoroughly, ensuring that everything is where it's supposed to be, measured correctly and whatnot. And then after the uniform inspection, we will go into, rifle manual, and testing out on rifle manual and your knowledge on it. So you're brought into a room. It's a silent count for us, so there's no counting at all. Everything is silent in your head with a certain count that we use, and tested on that. And then directly after that, they grab the knowledge book, and your week one knowledge, you're quizzed on. Every question has to be answered verbatim. Um, can't miss a word. It doesn't, you can't miss anything. So from there, if you make it, you're then released for the weekend. It's just a normal duty day or normal weekend for us. And then that following Monday, we start out with a 5-mile staff run, which is holding the staffs that you see us use, our regimental staff, Army flag, stuff like that. We do that for 5 miles with exercises in between. And then it's right on the marks again, 50-10s, learning the staff manual. That, like I said, that happens Monday through Thursday. Friday, we'll round off with another uniform inspection, staff manual, quiz, as well as a 90-minute, PC stand. And PC stand is basically, the best way I can describe it to you is how you saw us holding the flags at the Super Bowl when the flags were straight up. That's how we stand for 90 minutes at the position of attention. If you make it through that, you're then, you're tested on your knowledge again. understanding everything verbatim. And then week 3 comes, and week 3 is probably the hardest week there is. So Monday we'll start with a 3-hour stand, starting at 0900, ends at 1200, and you are just standing outside in the elements, whatever it may be. It could be -3 degrees, or it could be 102 degrees. But you stand there in your uniform at the position of attention for 3 hours. Once that's finished, you then start to learn the sequences, and you are trained up on our sequences, which is a color shot, a tomb sequence, and as well as like a PRE that we do at the Pentagon, or Pentagon River Entrance is what PRE stands for. A sequence like that. And then you're quizzed on, or you're shown that, and then you are given the ability to perform Monday through Thursday. And then Friday is that, uniform look over real quick, test out on all the sequences, and then you will do your week 3 knowledge. And after that, you sit down with the platoon sergeant and some of the other NCOs that are within the platoon. And they basically tell you, hey, you crushed it. Welcome to the platoon. And we, throughout the 3 weeks, we often sit down with all the trainees and just do a quick one-on-one, face-to-face. Let them know we're friendly people. We put our pants on one leg at a time, just like you. And just know that we demand the best out of them if they make it into the platoon. And it's a mental thing. It really is. You get the muscular fatigue and stuff from running and standing, but if you can mentally bear all of that stuff that you go through, and you're a great soldier. For NCOs, you're a great leader. There is no reason why you won't make it in this platoon. So that's really what those 3 weeks look like. It's long, it's tedious, but it really is worth it. It's one of the most difficult things that I've done mentally in the Army. But if I could do it all over again, I'd do it all over again, just to come right back, to where I'm at. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about I'm sure that you had friends and family and everyone watching. This was.
I came back to my phone. I had, I think, 30 notifications on Facebook, 20 something text messages from previous leaders that I've had in the Army, and my wife, my aunts, uncles, mom, everybody. You looked amazing. You guys looked awesome. For me, that was one of the more honorable things that I've done. Exciting things. It was the love I got and the appreciation I got from everybody, the support. It was awesome. And, it made that, like I said, those 4 or 5 days that we really trained and did everything, it made everything worth it. Everything that I've done to get to this point, just for 20 seconds, 15, 20, 25 seconds on the live TV, it made it worth it.
Yeah, awesome. Any idea of what your next step's going to be?
I'm hoping to be a drill sergeant.
Okay.
Yeah. The idea of training, mentoring, developing young soldiers or young civilians into soldiers is intriguing, and I think I would be good at that job.
Yeah. Well, I think after this, you'll be good at any job. Do you have anything else to add?
Nothing. I appreciate you having me on here, and I'm glad I got to talk about, this whole experience.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome.
It's an incredible organization, and we enjoyed seeing you, and and I enjoy you taking this time for us to get to know you a little bit better.
Absolutely.
And the challenges and and everything else that probably are just not really understood. Barely even with people in the Army,
Right.
you
A lot of
hear
people know
about,
about where we're
yeah,
at.
yeah. Uh,
So
but there's so many of these different organizations and opportunities that are out there. But this is, it's very prestigious,
absolutely.
and I, I'm happy that you're out there doing it. And I look forward to seeing the soldiers that are under your tutelage after being a drill sergeant as well.
Can't wait.
Um, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And yeah, have a good day.
You as well. Thank you.